So Dan, what did you get up to at the weekend?
Well, Tom might have a little problem when he comes to start his car to move it next week. Problem is, got no engines, does he?
A few moments later.
Well, Tom, how many horsepower is that then?
You've actually taken the engine out of it. What the fuck?
So the next game is find your engine.
Where is the engine? Hey guys, welcome back today. What are we doing today is we are working back on the Arosa project for the new build series, the first car mods with Dad Bods. This is the next installment. Check in the description for the first episode. That was really amazing. But there are some crucial differences to when we saw that car in that video and what we have here at the moment, and it's definitely not on the exterior. Yes, Dan and Bart have stitched me up royally with this one, so we've got a lot of work ahead of us to get this even back to the point that it was a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, the major thing that is missing from this car is it now has no engine. So basically, as you can see here, they fully stripped the entire engine out of this car. So yeah, the fully running and driving car now has absolutely nothing on the inside of it, which to be honest is pretty crazy. To be honest, the fact that they went to all the effort to actually remove the engine is pretty wild. So yeah, we've basically got to decide what the hell we do with this now, because yeah, I mean, we could get them to put the engine back in. They did offer to do so, but we're also thinking maybe this is a silver lining and we do something that is pretty crazy that we've personally never done before, and actually it could be quite good fun for you guys to watch along the road when I make inevitably a huge amount of mistakes and cock it all up. Right, but first things first for this car is that we need to give it a well-deserved wash so that we can actually get it into the garage, which is all nicely laid out. Now we've done a bit of reorganisation so that we can get it in here. But yeah, let's. I'm not going to bore you with a full montage of cleaning this vehicle, but we'll Right, so that is it in the garage. It feels a lot bigger in here, I have to admit, but I think that's probably the ride height, because obviously it's lacking, as you saw, the crucial engine in the front of it, which obviously means that the front's very high, and then yeah, we never really got round to adjusting the height when we had it what, 15, 17 years ago. What is quite funny is it still has some of the remnants of my ownership in the mods that we showed you on the previous episode, but then what I also forgot to mention was this. Now that big dent, which you can just about see there. So yeah, that's actually me 15 years ago reversing at night out of a driveway, friend's driveway, and hit a big black gate post, and it's still there all these years later. No one bothered to get it fixed. So yeah, it's like seeing an old friend again. Quite funny, really. Right, so now this car is back, we can really crack on with it. We've got all the kit and stuff in the back of it. We've also got some other bits which we can maybe get onto in this episode, and we'll talk through some of the spare bits that we've been collecting over time. So those of you who follow me on Instagram will know that the Snakeskin Saxo, which is out there at the moment, had these ginormous tips on the back, and we've just had those replaced with a new quad exit diamond shaped exhaust pipe, which yeah, means that we wanted to kind of almost wanted to keep these as well, basically, because what we were thinking is actually, rather than these going to waste, obviously, we'd repair and cut out the sections where they were all kind of leaking, which was kind of there, you can see there's a lot of black soot around that area, and maybe we could reuse those on this car, which would be pretty nuts, to be honest. And we always like reusing parts on this channel. And then a couple of other bits that we've got floating around up here at the moment. We've got these guys and these guys. I don't know if that describes it, but in essence what we've got are some more chrome mirrors. You know me with sort of chrome mirrors on pretty much all the builds that I've done. Absolutely love it, especially with chrome wheels and stuff. We've also got some rare sort of metal door handles which come in a sort of silver finish as well, so they will replace these bad boys when we actually get round to it. And then the other bits that we've got, not the OZs, but what is underneath, is that we went and picked up some 18-inch TSW reflex wheels. I think they're reflex from what I remember back in the day. They definitely need a refurb, and 18s are going to be interesting, let's say, to fit onto an Arosa / Lupo. Seen some 17s and yeah, they looked absolutely epic, but let's see what we can do with 18s. And then yeah, over the back we've got a Evo spoiler to go on it as well, and I mean there's just a whole host of other bits and bobs knocking around here. So first thing first, let's get out all the bits and get it all set up. Let's crack it up, get it on axle stands, and then yeah, let the fun begin. Right, so there we go, now we're up in the air. So we have jacked the car up, taken the wheels off, just sort of having a look around underneath. We spilt some fluid on the floor because not everything was out. And then, yeah, I've been giving it a bit of a clean and stuff. We've attacked a load of spiders that came out, and now what we find pretty crazy as things go is, if we're looking at kind of where the shuts are and stuff on the door, obviously as you can see here we're overhanging by quite a bit, but when you look at it in relation to where it sits on the door, you can see here this is kind of where the mud flaps are, which we're going to remove. Got kind of a bit to trim here, but if we come all the way along here, it already follows the shape of the door, which is pretty mad. So I don't know, we'll either shift it forwards, sculpt this, cut down the end, move it in to shorten it, because as you can see here we've got obviously quite a bit of overhang. We're going to also be putting some over fenders on here, probably from a Saxo like we did on the Mark 1 Punto, because basically for that they're just really cheap and you can chuck them on. And they've got a slight flat bit on the top as well, which kind of suits these kind of cars of this area where the rear kind of always seem to have a bit of a flat spot at the top, so hopefully we can get the shape to work. Yeah, I guess next up is to start removing mud flaps and other various bits, get the electronics and bits and bobs like lights and stuff off the rear bumper, because I think that's probably what we're going to start with. Now, something that's pretty crazy with this bumper that was completely unplanned, this is just a random bumper that we picked up, is that if we sort of start to match this area around here, kind of see how far it's sort of poking out at the back, but I mean that's not crazy to be honest, bit of blending and stuff in between. But the mental thing is if we come around here to this side, it's almost as if it was made for it, like, which is completely nuts. So yeah, I mean hopefully that means without too much fuss we'll chop away the bottom section of this bumper, and then we'll basically bond the two bits together so that we get this substrate underneath, which means that we can mount it back to its original fixings. And then we'll trim obviously and reshape all of this bit around the front. Remove this probably because we don't need that light in there anymore. Maybe we keep it in, not too sure about that. We'll probably smooth it off. And then really the rear bumper is going to be pretty close. Right, so next up we're removing the lights to give us access to that bolt there for the top of the bumper, and then basically we've got to take off that little plastic tab which uncovers a little bolt, and then these just slide straight out with one connector. We had a couple of bolts underneath the bumper, we had a couple more in the arch that you've just seen we've taken out as well, and then yeah, basically this whole bumper comes off. Right, and next up basically we've got to go and chop that front bumper. Got to trim around the front edge of it. because at the moment it's got this big lip that runs all the way around the outside of it, so we basically just got to trim this as close as possible, because we are going to be bonding it and then blending it into the actual bumper itself so that we can use all the original mounting points. So yeah, so we're just going to trim all this return flange off, and then hopefully, fingers crossed, it marries up quite well, because these side skirts are looking absolutely epic. We did those a second ago, and as you can see, with a bit of trimming and stuff, they are going in, which is awesome, looking very, very cool. Right, so what we're doing at the moment is we have done the big cut. As you can see there, the flange has come off of that bumper, and basically easiest way is to cut this on the car so we keep it kind of in the position that it needs to be. So we're basically trimming off all this lower section, because that interferes at the moment with these sort of cutouts on either side, so we need to trim all of that lower section off. Then we can attach the top and the bottom piece, and then we can start to work out all of our sort of fixation between the two of them, and basically glassing in between and building up all of the support. Right, and there we go, it gives a bit of an indication. So basically we chop the whole sort of section around off the top of this bumper, and then underneath you can see the lower portion of what was the original bumper all cut off, allowing us to kind of piece this onto here as you see it at the moment. We've obviously got a load of work to do, because at the moment, as you can see, it's tilted forwards, so we need to basically shave some stuff off of the back edges and stuff just to kind of get it positioned perfectly. We also need to probably work out whether or not it's going to be too low to the ground, which we probably should have done when we did the side skirts as well, but anyway, we'll get round to that as and when we get there. So yeah, next up is a load more trimming. Oh, look at that beautiful view. A load more trimming to get it positioned properly. Then we're going to chuck in a load of self-tappers just to hold it in place before we then work out our method of fixation. Hey guys, right, so we are a few days on from that. So let's basically show you where we're up to at the moment, which has made a little bit more progress than what you just saw just then. So the main thing is all of the bodywork is now fixed properly to the car, which is pretty sick. One of the other cool things is we've got, which we'll go around to the other side because they've got the centre caps on, but the TSW wheels are fitted and they actually fit, which is absolutely remarkable. So yeah, so basically the bumper is being bonded in place at the moment. Then what we do is we fill up the back of it with kind of expanding construction foam to kind of bridge the gap in between the two to kind of create a nice platform and a solid piece. And then we go over it with fiberglass matting and then fiberglass filler, etc., afterwards, like we did on the 106. And we've got those bad boys. Oh yeah. Chrome mirrors had to happen. They are now on. We've got our side skirts, so we trimmed the front, and then we trimmed sort of some of the section through the top, but they all fit. This all opens and stuff as well, so the doors can come off. And then as we come round here, obviously just ignore that at the moment. We haven't worked out what we're doing with that. This is going to be further back, I reckon, up here somewhere. We're thinking also maybe even centrally mounting it as well off two like pins either side of where the third brake light is or something. Could be quite interesting. Then the back, this is kind of how that rear bumper's sitting at the moment, just in the right position to get these wheels to work, which, I mean, they look absolutely epic, to be honest. Very, very happy with how those wheels are coming out. So yeah, I've kind of managed to get these 18s to fit pretty much at the moment. So yeah, it's going to need some work obviously on the tyre profiles and stuff, and we've still got these over fenders to add in, but as it goes with those pipes down there as well, I think it looks pretty damn sick, to be honest. And then yeah, coming around the front obviously up to this point around here. So yeah, so as things go, it's coming along definitely. It's looking really, really good. Very, very, very happy with how this is coming out. Everything seems to be going a little bit smoother than I was expecting, to be honest, which is also slightly worrying, I guess, at times. But yes, it's definitely coming along, and we're piecing together kind of all the final bits, including, crucially, the engine as well. So we're thinking of doing a 1.8 turbo conversion on this, which frankly is going to be completely nuts. So this car originally had like 49 horsepower, and we reckon 250 is probably going to be about sort of where it sits afterwards. So obviously the brakes are going to need upgrading, and some of the other sort of miscellaneous bits that go associated with a performance upgrade of that magnitude. So yeah, 5 times the sort of brake horsepower out of factory. It's going to be an absolute rocket ship. So really, really can't wait to be driving around in that. It's going to be absolutely hilarious. Ooh, so one last shot of those wheels. Naughty. Hello and welcome to Tom sat in his office. Basically I thought I'd jump in quickly just to show you a couple of snippets and sneak peeks that I've had in from Dan and Bart. Now, those of you that are following will know this already, but other people may just be joining to this second part 2 without actually seeing the first episode, so go in the description to watch that first. But basically we're doing this as a 3-way sort of build series, so I've got my friends Dan and Bart who are coming along for the ride basically, and they've also picked up 2 vehicles that we're building for Max Power Reunion Show 2026. Dan has his 206 build, Bart has bought himself a Vauxhall Calibra, and both of those needed a huge amount of work doing in one way or another to get them back on the road, and maybe some more than others, let's say. Updates and some videos and stuff sent across for me from those. So we'll start off with Dan's. So his main stuff that he's been working on at the moment is getting all the bodywork complete, so that it can actually go in for paint already, so get that horrible sort of flat yellow taken care of, and something a little bit more in keeping with that sort of early 2000s vibe. Time repairing, fixing and unbodging a lot of the old repairs and bits and bobs that people seem to have done when they've smashed that bumper and various bits into things in the past. So that's all been pulled out and redone properly, so that's now, well, most of it's actually gone into paint already, and I think the body's to be due to go in soon, but I'll cut some videos to show you exactly what that looks like and also give you a sneak peek of the colour. So yeah, looking really good. And next up is Bart. Now you'll know from that car, that was pretty much a complete car that he picked up. It looked very nice. The paintwork was lovely, bar a few sort of little scabby bits with all the flames and stuff on the side. But crucially, the engine had been taken out of it. Now it used to be a V6, hence why the engine was removed, I think to put in the previous owner's Astra or something. So he was on the lookout for an engine or at least a donor vehicle. Now he found one. Seemingly a very nice one from down south, which was another V6 Calibra that just had 12 months MOT put on it, had a load of repairs and stuff done. So I haven't seen it in person, but from what I've been told, it's a very nice example. So the slight sort of question mark over it at the moment is it too nice to pull apart? Because basically we need all of the running gear, the engine, and then the rest of it can kind of just get left and stripped. So it feels a bit sort of bit harsh to basically take a fully running and driving car off the road to just put another one back on the road, if that makes sense, when all it needs really is running gear and engine. So kind of on the fence as to whether that's going to be used, but I'll show you a quick video of it coming off the trailer, and then I don't know, we'll see what happens with that one. Yes, I mean that's it really from me at the moment. If you haven't already, subscribe to my sort of Instagram and TikTok. It's the same sort of handle, Tom Mods Things. Basically I post a lot more stuff up there a little bit more regularly than I do on YouTube. It takes me a bit more time to do these longer edits, and trying to juggle that with family life and stuff is quite difficult at times, whereas I can just quickly snap away and chuck stuff up on there. So if you want basically little sneak previews of the larger video formats that are coming, then definitely subscribe there. Everyone for watching, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for more of this content as we progress to July 2026, when these cars hopefully get finished in time and unveiled at that show. As the next one, take care, see you later.